Hello, it's John Heaton, and I thought today I would do a review of, or a discussion about the stripped down version of Double Fantasy, which came out on its 30th anniversary back in 2010. And this basically was put together by Yoko and Jack Douglas, and it's good to see them back together because they fell out after John died over royalty payments or something, but they're back together here and all made up and friends again, which is great to see. And basically this album presents the Double Fantasy album. Well, there's two discs on here, the original album and then the stripped down, which is without the horns and any strings or backing vocals, female backing vocals anyway, removed. So that's great, and one wishes that one had this for more of the classic solo albums. For example, All Things Must Pass, maybe we'll get that next year or not. I'm not sure that what we're going to get, to be honest, but we would dearly love to see a stripped down version of that, just for it, not necessarily because it's going to be better, just so we can hear what it would have sounded like without the horns or without the reverb, and hear Klaus's bass a bit clearer and stuff like that. So this album doesn't make it better or worse. In fact, some tracks benefit from the stripped down approach and some tracks don't, as I'll cover when we're going through. The track I think I want to say is the highlight of this whole stripped down album for me is the start-off single, Starting Over, which I think was a little bit overproduced on the album. I know they were trying to make it commercial, be a single. And they put all the female backing vocals on and the horns, and it did make it quite commercial, just a little bit too slick. And this stripped down version is really punchy. It's just the musicians in the studio, Tony Levin bass, Andy Newmark drums, Earl Slick, Hugh McCracken and John on guitar, and they're just having a whale of a time. And sounds like more of a rocker than the single did, which I think benefits it. And the other track which I think particularly benefits of John's songs is Clean Up Time. I think that really is quite a bit swings a little stronger on this version. Not that the album version's lacking too much, it's just that maybe it's a little bit overproduced with the horns. Anyway, it's nice to see. It's a bit like Let It Be Naked. It didn't replace the original album, but it's nice to have both, and one can go to both. I know you, Andrew Brooks, are a big fan of Stripped Down, but I don't think you listen to it exclusively versus Double Fantasy. It's just nice to have both versions, and nothing wrong with it. And I think on Starting Over, it's a good example. And talking of backing vocals, that led to a discussion I was having just now about how seldom the Beatles used female backing vocals, whether as a group or solo. As a group, I could think of across the universe where they got a couple of fans in from the street. Long and Winding Road, where Spector put a choir on, female choir, and Let It Be, where Paul asked Linda to sing a particularly high harmony in the chorus. But that's about the only female backing vocals I can think of, apart from on Birthday from the White Album, when Patty and Yoko are singing the birthday, that bit in the middle. So I think it's Patty and Yoko. So, and then solo-wise, Paul, he obviously used Linda to sing backing vocals, but other than that, he didn't employ female backing vocalists that I can remember. Ringo did quite a bit. There's numerous solo songs of his where he used it. Dose of Rock and Roll, Drowning in the Sea of Love, You Don't Know Me at All, Snookeroo, Ooh Wee, Tango All Night, Lipstick Traces, Where Did Our Love Go, were just a few I could write down. John did it, as we know, on this track Starting Over, and also on the Mind Games album with the Something Different chorus. He used them all the way through that album, and I don't think that was one of the strong points of Mind Games. I could have done without that. And hence that would be another candidate for me of a stripped down approach, the Mind Games album. If and when they come to do that 50th anniversary in 73, I think they should put out two versions one, the original remastered, and two, the stripped down. So I want to talk about the cover. By the way, in my previous video on Lennon, I said that maybe I didn't like the Double Fantasy cover. Well, that may be true, but I think, Dave Costello, you were right. It probably was and should have been the cover, because the album was about their relationship. Even though I think the photo is a little bit manufactured, perhaps, because as I said in my last review, they weren't making themselves out to be the sort of honeymoon couple, and this picture kind of is a little bit on the soppy side. But anyway, I'm glad it's the cover, and Sean did a good drawing of it, although it brought back bad memories from him of the time, and he did the back cover as well. But on the inside of the CD, we've got the superb packaging here of John and Yoko sitting on the outside table in a coffee shop just near the Dakota, I think, and Paul Goresh taking the picture of them coming out of the Dakota on August the 4th, 1980, the first day they were to enter the Hit Factory. And then this picture taken early in the morning on December the 6th, Saturday, December the 6th. They'd been up all night recording, walking on thin ice, I think, and they'd asked Bob to come and take pictures because John had a new coat. And then in the evening they would go and do the famous BBC interview with Andy Peebles. So I just want to pay tribute to the packaging on here. It's just, as I said, I thought that Paul Goresh thing could have been the front cover, but anyway, it's very nice to have it as part of the packaging here. And also a really nice booklet with sleeve notes from Paul de Noyer. More photos from... A lot of photos were taken of John and Yoko in this period. Thankfully so, we have them to treasure, both in the studio, walking around Central Park, whatever. And then some very nice notes good sleeve notes from Paul de Noyer, who wrote for Q, or writes for Q, I think. And then Yoko says, special thanks to, starting with Jack Douglas, our original co-producer. I'd like to thank him and the musicians who have been involved in the making of the original Double Fantasy. You were brilliant. You were all brilliant and wonderful. I still love each one of you. I would like to give a special thanks to David Geffen for giving John and I the freedom to make the album in the way we wanted to. The album would never have been made without your wisdom and allowing us to be us. And thank you, Sean. After many days of hesitation, you finally did the drawings for the front and back cover of this very special stripped down CD for your dad and for your mum. All sorts of memory of that time came back to you. You said, I know how hard it must have been. This is a thank you from me and your dad. Finally, John, thank you for having done the album with me at the time of such importance for your career. I was a very lucky woman. We made a bit of a mess of our lives, didn't we? I know we never thought that, but we did. Though for you and me, it was grand all the way. I love you, Yoko. I think it's pretty touching sleeve notes. We've talked about how she's come in for stick over the years. Some of you watching this right now don't like her, but that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I think she deserves a break these days. And also in conjunction with that stripped down, there's some material on the Lennon anthology on the 4th disc, which are basically outtakes from Double Fantasy and Milk and Honey. Particularly good version of I Don't Want to Face It, and Nobody Told You on this Lennon anthology. So good, almost set the precedent with Double Fantasy doing this stripped down. And as I say, I hope the other three Beatles or their estates follow suit, and also other bands, because it's a fascinating way of documenting how the album was put together through the various stages. So thank you for watching. Oh, and I wanted to show you the Double Fantasy album of mine signed by Yoko. I've showed it before, but that was signed for me in May 1998 by Yoko here in Budapest. So I'm very proud to have that. Thank you for watching. See you next time.